Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
70% of AI transformations fail. Companies pour millions into artificial intelligence, hoping for breakthroughs, but often end up with frustration and confusion instead. The real issue isn't the technology itself. It's leaders forgetting the people who make it work. Aaron Plush, a transformation executive and former chief of staff at Citrix Systems, discovered that putting people first and technology second is the key to success. By flipping the script, he doubled adoption rates. Alongside him is Grant McGaugh, host of the Follow the Brand podcast and creator of the Brave Blueprint strategy. Brave stands for brand, relationships, alignment, vision, and execution. Together, they reveal why so many transformations fail and how you can beat the odds. Remember, technology finds you, but people unlock you. Behind every data point is a human being. This is about leadership, authenticity, and building organizations that truly thrive. Listen now on the Follow the Brand podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Follow Brand podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaugh, and I get an opportunity to interview a very, very interesting individual who I met down there in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area not too long ago. And I found him intriguing because of his world. His world and my world kind of intersect in the world in technology. And he's been doing a lot in program project management. I mean, anytime you get involved with high tech, people don't realize this, but they see the outcome, but the internal thing that you have to get done, a lot of I's have to be dotted, a lot of T's have to be crossed. There's a lot of coordination and orchestration in the background that has to be done by individuals such as Aaron. I'm going to let Aaron introduce himself, and we're going to really get into this because I don't see a lot of conversations around these areas and really showcase his expertise in what he does. So Aaron, you'd like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Grant, for the opportunity to be here on your podcast. Always welcome the opportunity to share in a good dialogue and looking forward to the discussion. To the point of what Grant mentioned, I am Aaron Plush, and I live here in South Florida. I have been here roughly 8 years, originally from South Carolina, and I've lived around the globe. Certainly, I can tell you, Grant, as you kind of set me up, that IT really found me. That one of the most significant stories that I have is I remember, and I don't want to age myself because I am only 21,
Yeah.
but I remember being pulled out of a classroom in the second grade and was really used as a tester. Didn't realize it at that point for some of the first Macintosh computers. And
Oh,
literally, our librarian at the time, she had taken an affinity to me. Her name was Mrs. Hubbard. I remember her very well, just a lovely woman. And in hindsight, I recognize that that's where my affinity for computers came about and have been chugging along ever since.
well, I tell you that, and I remember that's how I got my start in technology. It was definitely in high school and had the opportunity to attend the DeVry Institute of Technology. But th those are the things that, by chance, and we think it's by chance, but it
Hmm.
gives us an opportunity, right? I think we everybody agree you get an opportunity. It's a matter of how you're going to take it forward. Now,
Sure.
first question I want to ask you. This is curiosity for me and probably the audience as well, is that you have worked at the intersection of operations and also people leadership, which is very
Yes.
important. I want to
Absolutely.
understand when you enter a new organization,
Yes.
what is your process for quickly diagnosing where transformation or those gaps is needed most?
Yeah. So I tell you, Grant, in very certain terms, that's a great question. And for me, my mindset is one of a consultant. So I'm a big listener. That one of the key things, and I say this to all leaders, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go on that listening tour. You truly want to understand what's happening. There's no bigger mistake that any leader can make than going in, implementing change with no regard to an understanding of the landscape of the organization that they're going into. The reason why that's so dangerous is because so often you'll find some of these great and amazing and wonderful ideas that you think that you're having, they've already been tried. And for
Mhm.
whatever reason within this organization, they didn't work. So to answer your question very specifically, after going on that listening tour, it's about truly understanding from the individuals who've been there as to what things have been working, what things aren't working, what gaps are there. And then in turn, we can collectively look at how transformation can happen. Because what I think about transformation, it's not about being the smartest guy in the room all the time. It's about how do we collaborate as a cohesive unit? How do we go about looking at a people centric approach that so many of us say that we have, but we have to question ourselves and ask, is that truly what drives us? I practice what I preach. And I practice what I preach because I love God and I love God first. So in turn, I have to honor him in all things that I do, be it work, be it personally, be it wherever. So with that, that's what my approach is. It's that listening tour. It's going in and understanding what has worked, what isn't working, what will work. And then together, taking that people-centric approach is how we go about charging forward and identifying what transformation needs to happen and how do we get there.
I love the viewpoint. I love the authenticity and bringing your true self to the table and being who you are and allowing others to be who they are. I think it's so important.
Absolutely.
You were at Citrix.
Yes.
And when you were at Citrix, you helped establish supplier management and contingent workforce programs that became some industry standards. If you don't mind,
Absolutely.
I'd like for you to let us know what specific principles made those particular programs so enduring and scalable.
Yeah. Great question. And I have a great story.
Okay.
The story around me even landing in South Florida was because of Citrix Systems Inc. That specifically I came into Citrix to be the global contingent labor manager. And to your point, what separated me from all of the other applicants was that I was the only one who had the global experience.
Mhm.
Citrix at the time identified that it wanted to look at how it could bring some management structure to its contingent labor program. And because I had that global experience, to allow the company to bring that in-house, where I
Mhm.
created what was called the FlexWorks office at that time. And it was amazing to be able to build something from the ground up based upon my experiences with several other companies. So that's what led me into Citrix to be able to manage all non-employees of the company globally and to have a system where we could manage them through a vendor management system that allowed us at real time to be able to see how many consultants and contractors that we had, what was our spend with them, to really be able to have some true usage of that intersection, as you mentioned, of the operational piece of managing that, but using technology to be how we're managing it. So that intersection was amazing. The second component of that was I moved on from that contingent labor space to managing all suppliers. And that was the supplier value optimization program. All suppliers within the organization, I worked to ensure that we had supplier inclusion, to ensure that diverse suppliers were getting opportunities with this large corporation in the tech space. Also ensuring that we were managing our suppliers in a way that they felt that they were truly partners and truly having that connection of we were all working together. And then lastly, the piece that you did not mention is that I left Citrix as the chief of staff of HR, working directly with our C-suite under our chief people officer, which afforded me the opportunity to be that vault for Donna Kimmel at the time, as well as to guide and drive the strategic guides of Citrix specific to HR, as well as the overall corporation.
I think all this is important to note, that your experience speaks for itself. And because of that experience, that global experience, people like to tap you for your knowledge, your expertise, and your intelligence. Now, you've managed some pretty large and complex projects for a lot of Fortune 500s, and even outside of Citrix.
Absolutely.
And some other niche clients alike. But what is your approach to keeping high stakes initiatives on track? Because I see these things get away from people all the time, especially when they're challenging and there are other competing priorities.
I tell you, the key thing, Grant, is remaining calm, cool, and collected. That what you will find in very certain terms is that, yes, this work is important, but a dear friend said to me years ago, the work that I do is not cancer research. No one is going to live or die based upon the work that I'm doing. So being able to understand that, yes, it's important, but it's not the do-all, be-all, that tomorrow will still yet come. In that allows my program project management mind to come to play, which says to me in very certain terms, it's piece by piece, bit by bit, looking overarching, seeing big picture. But when we sit down to eat a plate of food, what do? We get our fork, we get our knife, and we do it bite-sized pieces. We don't take the entire plate and throw it in our face and try to eat it all at one time. Use the same example to be it higher clients, be it clients. Does not matter. The approach is always the same. Objective is to go from A to Z, letter by letter. Any skipping letters, any of that nature is going to put us in a position that we don't want to be in. So it's that very methodical, piece by piece, using that program project management mindset, but also understanding uncertainty that tomorrow will still yet come. There may be those times that we have to take steps backwards. There may be times that we even make some mistakes. Own them, because accountability is one of those things that is paramount in the success that I've seen. Knowing for certain things that fail, raising my hand. Yes, me, Aaron Plush, that's on me. Now, how do we work together to fix that? Not as Grant's fault, not as the supplier's fault. It's mine. I own it. Now let's work together to fix it and get to that point where we need to be, because that's a significant lesson learned.
Accountability is king, especially in the work that you're doing. You have to have accountability, and the stakeholders in the room have to be accountable, right?
No doubt.
Pull that together. And as you mentioned, your career has spanned being the chief of staff.
Yes.
You've done program direction, consulting. The question I want to know is, and you've got a storied career over a long period of time.
Absolutely.
I want to understand which role has stretched you the most, and what did you take from it that shapes how you lead even today?
I'll reframe your question, because it's less about an individual role and it's my entire career. And the way that I look at my career, it's been building blocks that going back to that affinity with God and understanding that I saw clearly career at second grade. Not many people can have that exact moment where they're saying, hey, I can pinpoint my professional career back to the second grade, sitting in front of a Macintosh computer, knowing that that was going to be the direction I was going to go. I have that vantage point. So those building blocks of my career has allowed me piece by piece, block by block, to build in a way where every role technically was a stretch because there were so many uncertainties within each role. However, being blessed with a methodical mind, being one who operates from the spirit of excellence in all things. If I'm walking to the store, I'm going to walk to the store with the spirit of excellence. Translating that to being stretched afforded me the opportunity that, although I didn't always have the answers, sometimes I didn't have a clue, but I also knew the importance of tapping into my resources, tapping into those people who did know, tapping into that collective experience of what we all could learn together, and then using that to gain success. So you go second grade to where I am today serving as a consultant. And I do have to put the plug in for my own podcast, which is the Authentic Realness podcast, because you mentioned authenticity, because that's at the core of who I am. I don't know how to be anyone else other than Aaron R. Plush, because that's who God created me to be. So in knowing that I'm one of one, it affords me the opportunity to know that I will continue to be stretched, Grant, that I know for certain terms that there are going to be future roles, as long as God so sees fit for me to be here on his green earth, that I'm going to be stretched each and every time. But what I do have is the ability to look back that every time that I was stretched, even second grade, I was able to overcome. So just as I'm sitting here with you right now and being able to have this conversation, when I have that next stretch moment, I am certain in faith now that I'm going to be okay on the other side, because I've gotten through every time before, and I will get through this time as well.
Absolutely. There's a pivot point in everyone's life. Sometimes we don't like to acknowledge it. You may be comfortable in your particular role and what you're doing from a career business standpoint, but a pivot always comes.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times it comes without knowledge. But the smart person knows that he has to prepare himself for or herself for potential change.
Yes.
It happens to the best of us. One thing I love about you is that you understand the power of presence. You've developed your brand. You have a great LinkedIn presence. You have your own website. You've got a podcast. If anyone wants to know more about you, your philosophy, how you think, how you interact, the kind of the company that you keep, you've got a library of knowledge out there for people to tap into. So by the time that you come to the table, let's say for an interview or a business opportunity, you can already almost cut to the chase. Like, okay, we understand what you're about. We don't need to ask the preliminary questions. We need to know how you're going to interact, with the current situation. How did you begin to cultivate that type of brand for yourself?
It's one of those ones where I just know the importance, Grant, of how I view others. So I use my worldview to be able to define the standard of how I'm going to live my life. And in turn, I look at those brands of organizations that are branded really well, and we can name them. You go to this particular brand, you know what you're going to get. It was paramount for me, as I talked about that whole spirit of excellence, that in all things that I do, be it LinkedIn, be it my podcast, be it my website, it all had to be aligned with who I am, because I understand that those things are speaking before me. And in turn, because they're speaking before I even open my mouth, I need to make sure that they're representing me in the way that I want to be represented. So it goes back to some parents who always stressed that you're no better than anyone, but you're certainly no less. And in understanding that in whatever you do, son, we want you to do it with the spirit of excellence. One of the things that I share with you and your audience is that my brother unfortunately passed away on December 12th of 2024. And there's so many lessons that I learned from him. But the biggest one that I'm really pulling into my own life is understanding the need for having a level of humility and humbleness. Like he really was such a talented guy, but really always cared so much about others, cared so much about he didn't need the credit. He just did things for the sake of doing it. And I'm really tapping into that as I continue to grow and to be able to now represent both of us because it's so important to align with what you're saying. So I use all of that to comprehensively say that it goes right back to those building blocks that I know in certain terms that the building of my brand and how I'm represented has to be aligned with the authentic truth of who I am, because I am big on reality is reality, truth is truth.
Yes.
No perception is reality for me. Reality is reality, truth is truth. So a thing is what it is. And in turn, I want to make sure that Aaron R. Plush is represented as Aaron R. Plush in all facets of how I present myself, be it me or any of those things that represent me.
I couldn't have said it any better than that. And we, unfortunately, we do have that in common as far as a brother recently passing. And I totally get that. And that you really start to see, at least for myself, start to see that legacy that he left behind.
Absolutely.
And all different qualities and what's important, especially when you lose someone that's very close to you, at least for me, it changes my perception. Like, okay, what's important? Yep. Time is important because you can't get that time back. So spend time wisely with people that are worthy of that type of time. And then again, you've already put the information out there. You've got all kinds of content that shows what Aaron Plush is about. So there'll be no surprises, right? So reality
Agreed.
is reality, and you live in your authentic self. I love how you blend philosophy with your faith, your discipline, your business acumen. My question would be, how does that integrated approach give you an edge in driving organizational and cultural change?
Because I take the same approach that when I'm working with organizations, it's all about being inclusive and ensuring that as that journey is happening, it goes back to those listening tours, that any time that I'm in any setting for anything, it's all about having two ears and one mouth. And if we more focused on that and understanding that there's just so much more that we can gain by listening and then processing and then governing ourselves accordingly, I'm all about holding me accountable, as I said. So in holding me accountable, I would find it complete robbery for me to go into an organization and not bring my authentic self, those philosophies and all the comprehensive pieces of who I am into the role, which translates itself into your question. I look at any type operational component that's being developed, that it's important that all of the components are considered. It's not, let's throw out these puzzle pieces because they don't fit anymore. It's, how does this all fit together? How do we make this beautiful piece of work that we all can be proud of? And I don't care anything about level. You could be at the C-suite. You could be mopping the floor. There's something that all bring to the table, and being able to be in a position to recognize that and to be the voice of everyone just presents me in a way that I'm able to really separate myself in what my offering is across the board in all that I do as a professional.
I love that. You know, you've got a process, you've got a framework in which you operate in that helps you whatever endeavor that you come across. I use the BRAVE framework. You know, I feel you've got to have everybody comes across this challenges and situations that can either create, you know, different fears within yourself, inconsistency, uncertainty, things of that nature. So I lead from a BRAVE framework, and I want to understand the identity. I want to do my research. One thing I love about you, I can already tell before you involve yourself in a situation, you're going to do extensive research around that, because if you've done your research, you're going to get resilient because you know the path forward. Even though it might be difficult, there might be storms ahead, you understand that this is the best path forward. You kind of alluded to that when you said, if I go to the grocery store, I'm going to do it in excellence, in the most excellent
Absolutely.
way that I can, which is very authentic. You have a vision and you execute. It's part of the Brave framework. I want to understand also, because what you also do, you give back. You've
Mhm.
mentored many professionals who went on to lead, successfully on their own. I want to understand, what qualities do you look for in someone before you invest in their development?
That's the thing, Grant. I don't. If someone raises their hand and says that they need help
Mhm.
or that they're looking to grow and develop, that's all that I need. It's not an assessment because it's not that I'm trying to see where you are to be able to get you to where I think you need to be. It's you.
Mhm.
You are the one that has to identify that I'd like to see change. So
Mhm.
anyone that I encounter that they identify that they're ready to develop and grow, I'm there for them. And that's at any level. To your point, I do have a lot of mentees, and they are on every level from the youngest to I have some that are even older than me. I do a lot of coaching as well, and understanding that there is a distinct difference between mentees and mentorship and coaching and consulting. They blur a lot. They have similarities, but they are different. But the beautiful thing is that God has been very clear with me that my journey is about bringing others along with me, that my success is predicated upon being able to help others. So that's where my heartstring is, and knowing that any success that I have, that I must bring others along with me, that this is a journey for all of us, and that anything that I know, it's not a secret. Like those people who box their success up and like it's one of one, it's only me. I'm not that guy. Now, I am very much so private, but I am one who is open to sharing in anything that I know professionally, because my mindset, it's not that it's ever a secret. A lot of times it's just not your business. So those are two totally different things. But in
Mhm.
that holistic approach of your question around that giving back and that mentorship, that coaching, even pro bono consulting, all of that comes from a place of wanting to see everyone reach their maximum total capacity of being where it is that they choose to be. And if there's anything that I can do to help them on that journey, I'm more than happy to do it.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to pivot just a little bit
Sure.
now and go back to, and this is a business challenge right now for a lot of organizations.
Sure.
I know you've been recognized for your ability to bring clarity in order to a complex work stream. We've got AI, artificial intelligence. You've got agentic AI. We've got emerging technology that is on the table now, where people can no longer wait. Like, well, let's see how this works out. We've been in an AI world, enabled world now. I think probably since 2022, 2023 area. It's been about 2, 3 years. Everyone
Sure.
knows that AI is not going away. This is not just a fad. This is something that if we don't AI enable our environment, we are going to be behind.
Sure.
What is your secret to creating alignment among, and there's a lot of stakeholders in what I just described,
Yeah. Sure.
with different agendas of how we're going to get this done?
Yeah. I think the key thing there, Grant, is understanding your problem. Because certainly we know that all things that we do is predicated and based upon a problem. So once you know your problem and your problem statement, that then allows you the ability to understand, how do I now tackle this? What is my going to be my approach? To your point, when it comes to AI and being a technology guy, I've been a very early adopter, that I understand and I see how AI, in very simple terms, of stuff like this, where we're able to now have a full transcript that's generated that gives you and I both a quick recap of everything that we've talked about in this particular discussion. You think about how much time before it took with us taking notes or having someone that was specifically here just to take notes and those type things. That's now something that is enhanced. That provides us the opportunity to spend less time on tracking and more time on, well, here are the things based upon this session that you and I both agreed that we would do after the session. That's an amazing thing. So that's at a very baseline, simple level of using AI. But there are definitely more complex things that you can do in your business operations, the build out of your project plan that typically would take some people weeks to do can now be done in a matter of a couple of seconds based upon using certain technology. So it's more so about the leveraging of AI and the technology for the purposes of what you need it for. That there's nothing to be afraid of, that there's nothing that you're going to break, and in turn, embracing and identifying how it can work best for you.
We've got to take that food to heart because this is important. We are at a critical juncture for a lot of different people of where or organizations of where they're going to move forward, where they're going to double down on. That's very important. And I think it goes back to some of the things that you talked about earlier. What do you really stand for? What is your
Sure.
true brand? And what you're saying is, and I talk to people all the time about technology, and I think it does two things super well, and that is communication and speed. And if you can communicate very, very quickly, that's a big, big thing. But you're applying that to an operation or a business that you have. Think refinement, right? And think amplification. What business application do you have that needs to be refined? And then what needs to be amplified to really, really show the world what you do and what you do best when it comes to deploying something like an AI. Now, as I said in the very, 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 very beginning of this podcast, is that you work on super complex infrastructures, projects that have a lot of moving parts. They're not easily integrated. Sometimes you have competing departments that have to use the same platforms, and then how you get them to all work together. You've got to be that voice in the room, that voice of reason, that voice of clarity, which I think you have a very good ability of doing that in a complex situation. If I were to hire you today to do a job for me for corporation and a department that we need to implement a very, very highly visible project, why would I want to hire you?
It's real simple, Grant. And it starts with what I've been saying almost as a broken record. Being people centric is at the core of who I am. And I understand that how small, how large, or how complex of the problem or the project is totally irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
What is important is understanding that there will always be people at the core of these projects. Mm-hmm. So for me, the first step is in understanding the people. It's the understanding of the dynamics of the team and who's at the table. Then that allows us the opportunity to find a middle ground of how we all can work together. Because there's nothing worse than having a broken team, a fragmented team, but yet in a day and age where there are not everyone who's authentic. We're playing that we're all holding hands and singing Kumbaya, but we're technically not. So the separator in working with me is not to repair the wounds, not to say that we're going to have a perfect situation, not to say that we can't have differing opinions, but it's going in with a people-centric approach and letting everyone know that you are at the table as a valuable member of the table, and we're looking for everyone to be contributors. And then from there, I'm able to tackle the complex situation with them, because now we have that leveled playing field where we all get back to that innate ability that all humans yearn for, and that's a need to feel special. And knowing for certain that my voice is being heard.
I love that. That human to human interaction is not going to go away.
It's not.
And the AI components, and I try to help people to understand that it's like a vehicle, it's like a car. It can get you there faster,
Right.
but it doesn't have the the impetus and the understanding of what is happening. It's not a state of consciousness, right? So the only state of consciousness out there that we really interact with a lot of times is another human to human interaction.
That is
And
correct.
you're dealing with ideas, and you're dealing with agendas, and you're dealing with what others feel is the right direction. If we're not all going in the right direction, if if you're in a ship or a boat or something like that, it doesn't go very far or go in a lot of circles. So you're not
Correct.
moving it forward. I want to ask you this because I've been asking this of a lot of my guests here of late, especially toward the end of the podcast. It's a very,
Okay.
very easy question from my perspective. You've done a lot of podcasts. You have your own podcast. Now you've gone through the Follow the Brand podcast with myself, Grant McGaw. How did you feel about this interview?
Went exceptionally well. And I thank you for the opportunity, Grant, to be able to speak about me, because one of the things about my own podcast is that I reflect a lot on stories and situations and examples of things that I've experienced, but seldom is it a platform and an opportunity for me to really share my story in the way that others are consuming it. Whereas I'm used to being on the side of the table where you are in asking the questions and taking the journey and having the concept of where we want to go for the episode. So it definitely feels good to be on the other side. And it gives me an appreciation for my guests and the things that I take them through as we go through each of those episodes. But I tell you, this has gone exceptionally well. I'd say to your listeners, I hope that they have learned something through this process. And by all means, anyone who'd like to reach out to me, I'd love to hear from them. All my information is on my website. That's the best place to reach me. And that's www.aaronrplush.com. And everything's there. So looking forward to engaging with your audience and thanking you for the opportunity to have this conversation with you.
I love it. I love it, Aaron. I've got to tell people because we have a mutual friend. And she would be upset if we did not mention her. Her name is
Absolutely.
Erica. Erica, I met Aaron. We went to the Janet Jackson concert
Yes.
about a year or two ago over in Hollywood. And, I hadn't met Aaron before that. And we just came together like all of us all of a sudden were old friends. I mean, I'm talking
Yes.
about from the very, very beginning of meeting him, and then had my friend Erica with me, and we all got together. We all enjoyed. I mean, and hey, Aaron, you gotta let us know how big of a Janet Jackson fan are you?
Well, those people that know me, they know. Like I can't even tell you how many times that I have seen Janet. I even say to folks, from an affectionate, funny, laughter perspective, that Janet's my wife. So it's just that series for me. But no, I've just always enjoyed the career of the Jackson family in general. And then specifically Janet is who I follow the most. But I will say that even from her being a musical artist, I tap into that from a professional perspective because so much of who she is as an artist is about that spirit of excellence in all things that she does. So I can take something from every life situation. And yes, I do agree with you. It felt as if the three of us had known each other forever. We had a great time. I met Erica through a very good friend of mine, Ingrid. And in turn, it just turned into just great collaboration, which led to this opportunity for me to be here on your podcast.
And for the record, I've been after Aaron for a while to get on. I said, Aaron, you gotta get on my show. You gotta get on my show. Here we are. We finally got an opportunity to do that because, again, I have been in technology for a long time. He's been in technology a long time. And coming together, I feel this is so important. There's so many other people that are in the community that feel they've got to have a certain skill set or a certain, I can't get into AI. I can't get into technology. No, that's too big. You just kind of gave us a framework of how we can consume this type of intelligence and understanding and skill set one bite at a time. That is the formula for success. I want to thank you again for being on the Follow Brand podcast. And you and your entire audience can see all the episodes of Follow Brand and 5-Star BDM. That is the number 5. That's star STR BDM, B for brand, D for development, Informasters.com. I want to thank you again so much, Aaron, for being on the show.
Thank you, Grant.
You're welcome.
Man, who's your favorite podcaster? Man, Grant, man. I love Grant's podcast. Well, who's Grant? I'm going to send you the link. I love Grant.
I love the interview. I've done a lot of these, and this is a great one. It's always great to talk to people who know what they're doing, and it's clear you're a great host, and you've done this many times before.
I feel great that we're having this conversation here. Met a new person in business who I previously didn't know.
It was an amazing podcast. Grant is an amazing interviewer. I learned a lot.
I really enjoyed this. Great questions, great talk track. Super appreciate you having me on. It's been a very fun episode to talk about a lot of things that I don't always get to dive into, so this has been a fantastic conversation.
I wouldn't be where I am here today, of course, not on this stage, however, not in my current business projection and my current business model without working with you.
The difference between influence and legacy, it's the platform that carries your voice. You're not visible because you lack talent. You're visible because your brand doesn't speak. I've built 5-star BDM to change that. Most leaders have the expertise, but not the presence, the vision, but not the vehicle. Across 3 cities, one brand is helping leaders rise above the noise. Here in the heart of Omaha, strategy isn't left to chance. It's engineered with precision. In Omaha, we engineered your Zachner brand, AI-powered, data-driven, precise. TISA went from a local nonprofit to a national speaker in 90 days. We don't guess your brand strategy, we build it. On the shores of St. Croix, your brand takes on depth and meaning, shaped through curated retreats and legacy experiences. In St. Croix, strategy becomes soul. Our retreats don't just refine your message, they rediscover your mission. One founder rewrote his entire company story here. Funding followed 30 days later. This is where leaders remember who they were meant to be. In vibrant Miami, momentum meets amplification, transforming your voice into a movement. In Miami, your brand becomes a movement. Business development accelerators, audience building. Joy came with an old website and an outdated company name, but she left with 5,000 followers and a waiting list. This is where you scale with soul. 3 cities, 1 mission. Your legacy ignited. It started with a thread. Let's pull it together. Stop blending and start leading. 5-Star BDM, where legacy is engineered, embodied, and ignited. Visit 5starbdm.com and book your brand audit today.
What if leadership wasn't about titles, but trials? What if your breakthrough lay beyond fear? In First Light, The Brave Path to Authentic Leadership, embark on a journey of courage, truth, and purpose. Face the wolf. Hear first thunder. Wield the sword and shield. This is more than a book. It's a calling. Are you ready for First Light? In today's world, where every voice competes for attention, true influence stands out. One visionary has redefined the landscape of brand building. His name is Grant McGaw, and his innovative approach is setting new standards in the industry. Recognized among the top 30 global gurus in branding for 2025, Grant McGaw is a name synonymous with transformative brand leadership. His work is not just about creating brands, it's about crafting legacies. Through his visionary strategies, he is helping leaders across the globe redefine their impact and influence. At the heart of Grant's success is the revolutionary BRAVE framework. BRAVE stands for branding, resilience, authenticity, vision, and excellence. Each element is meticulously crafted to guide leaders in building brands that are not only successful, but also meaningful. Branding sets the foundation, resilience ensures longevity, authenticity builds trust, vision drives innovation, and excellence guarantees quality. This framework is where data meets storytelling and strategy meets authenticity. From healthcare to technology, Grant's methodology is reshaping how industries approach branding. His strategies are not confined to a single sector. They are universal, adaptable, and effective. By integrating the BRAVE framework, organizations are experiencing a transformation in how they connect with their audiences, ensuring their message resonates and endures. Grant McGaw's influence extends beyond frameworks. Through his best-selling books and the acclaimed Follow the Brand podcast, he shares insights and strategies that empower leaders to elevate their brand presence. These resources are a testament to his commitment to shaping the future of branding. Grant McGaw is not just influencing the present, he is shaping the future of brand influence. His work is a beacon for those seeking to lead with purpose and impact. By embracing his methodologies, leaders are equipped to navigate the complexities of modern branding with confidence and clarity. Discover the brave approach to brand leadership and unlock the potential of your brand. At 5-Star BDM, where vision meets results, Grant McGaw invites you to embark on a journey of transformation. Experience the power of strategic branding and redefine your impact in the world. Healthcare is evolving rapidly, and future leaders must adapt swiftly. Dr. Sandra Dunbar Smalley shares her journey from clinician to chief learning officer, highlighting the essence of modern leadership. Transitioning from the clinical floor to the executive suite requires more than just expertise. Dr. Dunbar Smalley emphasizes that leadership today isn't about having all the answers. It's about fostering environments where innovation, learning, and human connection can thrive. While mentors provide invaluable guidance, sponsors are crucial for creating opportunities. Dr. Dunbar Smalley underscores the importance of both in navigating the path to leadership. Many leaders, including Dr. Dunbar Smalley, experience imposter syndrome. Yet, they continue to step forward, embracing challenges and growing through them. Discover the 3 pillars transforming healthcare leadership: leading self, leading others, and leading results. These principles guide leaders in creating impactful change. Don't just listen, lead. Subscribe now to Follow the Brand podcast.
Sometimes when you have a particular skill set, you may not even feel you can move in different avenues, but someone will see that. So I think there are 2 camps of people: those that really want to climb that ladder and they're very eager to do it. And then there are those that I call the reluctant leader, where doors may be open and you have to choose whether you're going to go into them. And so I'm in that second camp where I've really just accepted and felt very blessed that people have said, I'd like to give you this opportunity.
Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius is coming. Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you.